what led to your transplant journey?
Well, Simon, in 2008, one of my nephews, Peter, who was 33, took sick and took a little while to figure out what it was, but it was discovered that both of his kidneys were shutting down for no apparent reason, a reason which still to this day has not been discovered. He was in hospital for quite a while. In October, we started talking transplant. It was just something I wanted to do. We talked about the fact that it should be somebody in my generation. Peter was only 33. If he should need another kidney in 20 years or something, he would still have a brother and lots of cousins that could step in and do that in the future. So his dad and I were tested. The first thing I did, as soon as we started talking, the first thing I did was called to find out what the procedure was, what I needed to do. I am a firm believer in signs. And the first call, when they told me what all I had to do, one of the things was a mammogram, bone density, plus a litany of other tests. But I thought, well, some of these may have waiting lists. So I will start with the mammogram. Right that day, I called to make an appointment for that. The woman said, I had a cancellation for this afternoon. Would you be able to come? I said, you bet I will. I got off the phone and said, yep, let's do it. And we went from there. In February, our files went to Ottawa. Of course, his dad was a better match than I was. But when they tested the artery, which has to be transplanted as well, Don's was not sufficient, and it was back to me. So we spent from then until August. The transplant was in August. We had one hold up. Well, we had two, but one was because of the isotopes. The factory in Chalk River was closed for some reason, and that's where they were made. And I can't remember exactly why it was closed, but that held us up for a few weeks because that was a very, very important test that had to be done. It showed the input and output of my kidneys. So once that was done, we were good to go. So Peter, we went to Ottawa. Our surgery was on a Thursday. I was, of course, operated on first at 8 o'clock in the morning. I went home on Sunday. My twin sister came over and we walked around my cul-de-sac here, and one of my neighbors said, oh, you couldn't go to the wedding on Saturday of one of the neighbors because you were having surgery. I said, I did. Okay, well, you're going to have to look a little more needy because, you know, you look like you should have been at the wedding. And I said, nope, sorry, I was in the hospital in Ottawa. So the only thing that they told me afterwards that I needed to do was for 2 weeks I couldn't drive, I couldn't lift anything over 10 pounds, and I couldn't take any stairs. After that, I had free rein to do anything. The only caution they gave me for the rest of my life was for a painkiller like headaches or whatever, to take Tylenol as opposed to Advil, because Advil is an anti-inflammatory, which is not good for the kidneys. Other than that, I have never looked back. I would like to let people know that sometimes people think they're too old. I was 57 when I did this. The doctor said, you're not my youngest patient, but you're not my oldest. And I know there are people much older than me that have done this. The surgery was laparoscopic. So for anybody that thinks in the old days you had that big scar on your back, no, not so. I think I had an appointment after 3 months, an appointment after 6 months. By the time it came to a year, I didn't have to go to Ottawa. They said, just go to your own doctor, just have your creatinine levels checked, and you're good to go. Which I have done, not necessarily every year, but every couple, at least. So for me as a donor, it was truly Nothing as far as my own way of life, except that I will have to say that it is the next thing to childbirth. It was such a terrific experience. Not everyone, of course, is in a position, well, to either have the opportunity to do this or have the desire or maybe the health to do it. I would encourage people who have not put registry on their to-do list, or those who have had it on there for years and say, I keep meaning to do this. Do it. My nephew Peter was on nightly dialysis for 10 hours every night. His room looked like a prison with all of the boxes of product. It took 2 minutes for the kidney to start working in his body. 2 minutes. During that 2 minutes, you could get your OHIP card out of your wallet, pull up your computer or your phone or whatever you have, and key into beadonor.ca and register to be a donor. If you happen to be a person in the future that needs that donation, or a loved one of yours needs an organ to live, you will really be thankful for the people that signed their registration cards. So I encourage everyone that has not done that, please do so.